Greetings, this is Sloshworks. Welcome back to Shadowrun Dragonfall Director's Cut. We just got back from Glory's old house. That was some messed up stuff. We do have a little bit of karma now, but if I do remember correctly, I'm just going to jump in and have a real quick look. We're saving up for that. I have no scotch left now. Okay, so we could do that, but there's no point. We could do that, but there's no point. We could do that, but there's no point. Everything's fine. I really want that one, and then I'm going to start working on them, so we don't need to worry about that. So we'll just exit that. I think what we need to do now is we need to still raise that money. I think we have actually money yet. We've still got 62, so we still actually have no money. We have not earned any money ourselves yet, and that's starting to be a bit of a problem, the fact that we don't have any. I want to go talk to Glory and see what she has to say about everything that just happened, because I think she's... Go say hello to Dante. Hey Dante, are you even supposed to be here today? Oof. It's good to see you too. Let's go and talk to Glory just to see if she has anything to say to us about what just happened. Glory stands, an introspective look on her face. At the sound of your approach, she turns to face you. She nods at you. Thank you for your help at Feuerschwinge. I couldn't have done it without you. Speaking of which, I've been meaning to talk with you about that. After the things that we saw in there, I'm not surprised. Go ahead, Slosh, I'm listening. I'm concerned about Glory. I'm not going to... this dude... I'm trying to play how this guy is. He's a charismatic, spiritual shaman. This is what he would say. He would say, you look distraught when Marta died. How are you holding up? Her expression clouds. As well as can be expected, my feelings on this are complicated. I don't want to push you on this if you don't want to talk about it. No, it's okay, I should talk about this. Running from it won't help anything. She looks away. A part of me still loved her, I think, but the rest hated her for what she represented. Well, you certainly killed her in like 4 seconds. Am I ultimately sorry that she's dead? Yes, killing her brought me no joy. But on the other hand, I'm not sure what the alternative would be. Imagine saying that. Maybe if the circumstances were different, you could have found some common ground. Maybe. Maybe not. Regardless, Marta was damaged goods. I can't even imagine the amount of psychological trauma that she'd be carrying if she were alive today. It'd take her years to recover, and in that time she'd still be dangerous. All in all, it's probably better that things turned out the way that they did. That's what I keep telling myself anyway. We need to talk about what happened to you. There's a long pause before she responds. You'll need to be more specific. You know what I'm talking about, Glory. The missing pendant, the other place, and the burning hand that you brought back with you. That. Well, clearly something happened when I plunged my claw into the heart of Feuerschwinge. But as to what that something was... She shrugs. Your guess is as good as mine. I can't believe you're acting so nonchalantly about this. I just don't see what panicking about it is supposed to accomplish. What happened, happened. And I've managed to take away some residual, if inexplicable, gain from it. How can that be bad? Don't bother answering that, it was a rhetorical question. And I can see that you won't be satisfied until I offer some sort of real answer. She steeples his fingers! That's not right. Something's wrong there. She steeples his fingers, musing. I suppose it's possible that when the spirit died, some portion of its essence was trapped in the hand that I used to kill it. Can that happen? We're in a place with different rules, remember? I'm already too far out of my comfort zone to offer you any real answers. Maybe it reacted to the orichalcum in the balm that I was wearing. I don't know. Anyway, the important thing is that some portion of the spirit, let's call it a residue. I was going to say residual. Let's call it a residue. Got smeared onto my hand in the adversary's domain, and somehow, back in the real world, that residue has imparted me with magic. Whatever the reason, however it's happening, I can't help but look upon this as a good thing. I guess I can't argue with you, yeah. If it makes you more combat capable, I can't order you not to use it. You couldn't anyway. Whatever this is, it's part of me now. Let's change the subject. Is there something else that you wanted to ask me about? Okay. We killed Harry, but we didn't manage to save any of the cultists. Not a single one of them. We didn't even try. I wish that we could have saved everybody. But we made a decision to kill Harry no matter the cost. I won't second guess that decision now. That was my decision, so that's you gotta accept this, Slosh, man. You decided that. Harrow is dead, Fustill is gone. Forget about the cultists, think about the future generations of street kids who will never have to go through what I did. No one will ever be corrupted by that place again. Who knows how many lives we've saved. We did a good thing back there, Slosh. You just can't see that from where you're standing. I can see it. I really can. Let's go talk to Eiger. Ooh, got an achievement, moving on. Completed Glory storyline. So this is why I'm getting the feeling we're coming up to the end of the game. We should talk about what happened with the engineer. Agreed, I'm ready to go over it, if you are. Feels like this one's going to be another talking one, guys. So the engineer was working for a secret society. I wasn't expecting that. Neither was I. She frowns. A part of me is still having trouble believing it, but it's true. Yuli wasn't lying. I could see it in his eyes. Have you had a chance to play with that rifle we got from the engineer's stash? Yeah, it's a beautiful piece of engineering. Shoots straight, has good stopping power, holds a big magazine. A really nice gun. You mentioned a bunch of aftermarket mods we found when we found it. Have you figured out what they do yet? Just one. It can tag a chambered round with an RF transmitter. After the round hits a target, the transmitter pings on a designated channel, broadcasting the target's exact location to anyone listening in. In layman's terms, you can use this thing to mark a target. There's cyberware that does the same thing, and deckers do it all the time. This is the first time I've seen this kind of functionality on a rifle. It's pretty cool. Agreed. I've been reluctant to cart an AR along with me up until now. In my opinion, the added mid-range stopping power didn't justify the trouble of carrying another big bulky weapon into the field. Being a walking arsenal is fine and good, but it's also noisy and cumbersome, and those are two things that every sniper tries to avoid. She pats the engineer's rifle. This thing though, this adds enough utility that I think it's worth the extra weight. I'll find a way to make it work. Okay, so I wonder if you don't go and help them. We've helped everybody except Dietrich. We haven't done anything for Dietrich. I wonder if there's a quest of his that we could have done, but because we haven't been taking him out, we haven't got to it. I wonder if it's the very next question that we haven't asked him, because we haven't asked him about the band yet. When I left that room to search for clues, the engineer told you something that pushed you over the edge. Her eyes narrow. That son of a bitch said a lot of things. What of it? What do you think? I want to know what he told you. With all due respect, that's none of your business, Slosh. I don't want to fight you on this, Eiger. If it's too personal for you, we can drop it. I'm going to do that and see if she does the right thing and tells me. She nods slowly. Yeah, that'd be the best. Oh, I really want to know now. So is there something else that you wanted to talk about? If so, if you have any other concerns, then voice them. Okay, so I don't want to get back to not being friends with you. I like being friends with you. No, there isn't much reliable information out there. Whoever these guys are, they're very good at information control. None of my contacts could find anything but rumour and conjecture. And most of that is too crazy to even consider. How crazy? Completely insane. Stories about magical nukes and the end of the world, Fenris shamans, Ragnarok, that kind of thing. She shakes her head. Like I said, nuts. Well, if you know what we just did, we just went to hell and punched the devil in the chest, so there are a lot of crazy things going on in this world that doesn't make them less real. She nods slowly. Yes, there are, and no, it doesn't. But this is just too far out for me to accept. It's far more likely that they release these stories themselves to throw people off whatever they're really doing. It's a very cynical way of looking at things. Anyway, we stopped them cold in Shatternest. Whatever their business is, whatever was going to be in those crates that the engineer was having shipped there, it isn't our problem anymore. The cruise baser is safe. On that front, at least. So that seems like we could have done more. But you're right. Chin up, fearless leader. We did good back there. Besides which, we still have a dragon to worry about. Oh, that's right. We forgot about the dragon. Any thoughts about the last run? Nothing we haven't already talked about. Okay, let's go talk to Dietrich. Let's see if there's anything we can actually do for him. I'd kind of like to do a quest for him, because, you know... Actually, where... Oh, there he is. He's hiding over there. Didn't see him. Going crazy. Okay. Any thoughts about the last run? Okay, you didn't go on it. You haven't been out since the first one. Sorry to leave you just hanging around here, old man. I'm curious, Dietrich, why did you switch from fronting a band to running the shadows? Honestly? Working the stage was getting boring, boss. Spitting and screaming at the world was fine and good when I was a kid, but it just didn't do it for me anymore. I guess, being a Shadowrunner would be a little bit more exciting than fronting a punk band. The Dragon Slayer wanted me to fight a real enemy, so I left the band behind and I turned to the shadows. I don't know, guess I figured that'd be the best way to find one. Considering current events, I'd say you're not wrong about that. Yeah, I guess not. Feels was kind of daunting, truth be told, but it's exciting all the same. I've been looking for a worthy adversary for a while now. It's kind of satisfying having a white whale to chase. I guess it is our Moby Dick, isn't it? How long have you been looking for a real enemy? Not too long, ever since I took down the last one. The last one? Of course, I might be able to sit around feeling pleased with myself if I followed the Creator or the Moon Maiden, but the Dragon Slayer ain't that kind of idol. If I'm not drinking, I'm fighting. If I'm not doing either of those things, I'm looking for a bigger, better fight to get in next time. Dietrich produces a flask from his jacket pocket and raises it in salute. It is a remarkably simple code to live by. Who was this last one? Gang boss. Great orcish bastard called the Wildschwein? Wildschwein. That... Now, I can't read German, and any of you guys, I know there's a few of you guys who are European and you might know. Is that pronounced Wildschwein? Because that would make sense to me, because swine and schwein sound similar. So I'm going to say Wildschwein. Led the local chapter of the Horde. I'd had my sights set on him and his for a while. They hurt a lot of people, but I'd figured they'd pose a challenge. I wasn't wrong about that, but I took him out in the end. So when does this pattern end? Well, boss, the way I figure it'll end when I pick a fight that I can't win. Might be this one, maybe the next. It'll be hard to top a Great Dragon. I guess if that's what you're living for, is the next fight and the next big thing, then this is probably a good one to go for. I might actually have to take him. But that's the way the Dragon Slayer wants it, and who am I to refuse him? Abruptly he turns away. That's enough talk for today, boss. Besides, you've got other things to do, I'm sure. So I wonder if because we didn't ask him that before... Okay, so it's just triggered all these other ones. We probably should have been talking to him the whole time as well. I wonder if there was a run we could have gone on with him that we just never did. Any updates on Alexander? Nothing new, boss. He's adjusting. It's going to take some time. Thoughts about the last run? I was thinking about what you told me earlier. You said that your idol was going to make you pick a fight that you couldn't win. He shrugs. It's bound to happen eventually, probably sooner rather than later. Is there something that you can do to stop that? Well, I suppose I could refuse, but that probably wouldn't be a good idea, especially not now. Remember, boss, the Dragon Slayer is where my magic comes from. If I turn away from him, you'd better believe that he'll turn away from me. Besides which, I don't even know if I can refuse him anymore. He's been with me for so long. I don't know where he stops and I begin. Don't you worry about me, boss. I've known that this was coming for my entire life. When it happens, I'll go down in a blaze of glory, the likes of which you can't even imagine. That's a promise. What if you were to pick a fight with a different kind of dragon, say maybe a gang or a corporation? He pauses for a moment. Well, that's an interesting idea. If it were big enough and heinous enough, he might be satisfied. I think we're going to end up going on a solo mission with him now because we've started doing this. Should have been doing this the whole time. What's wrong with me? I've never tried to bargain or negotiate with the Dragon Slayer before. I'm not sure how I feel about it, and I don't know how he'd take it either. The Dragon Slayer doesn't like to be questioned, his temper's even shorter than mine. But I'll tell you what, boss, I'll think about it. You can't really believe that your idol wants you to commit suicide. Of course not. The Dragon Slayer doesn't want me to die, but he does want me to kill dragons. That ain't supposed to be safe or easy. It isn't my idol's fault that I'm getting too old to keep up with his wishes. Okay, so we're going to talk to him again and see if it's going to trigger the next one. Okay, see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, why didn't I do this before? Why didn't... Oh, here we go. Alright. Updates on Alexander. Nothing new, boss. He's adjusting. He's going to take some time, so that's the same thing. Nothing to do with that, but... Back when we took on Humanus, you said that you fought in the Night of Rage. I'd like to hear more about that. He nods, then fishes in his jacket pocket for his flask. Alright, boss. We can talk about it. Yeah, I think this is going to be a talking one, guys. So I already mentioned that Berlin's punks and anarchists joined forces to fight off the racists, right? After a long bloody fight, we beat them. What I didn't mention is how I figured into all of this. I'm an anarchist at heart, always have been, and at the time I fit squarely into the punk camp. I was 32 at the time. Isaac Humph was still touring. Not as much as we did when we were kids, but we had a following. I guess I was sort of an elder statesman for the scene. When we rallied to fight the racists, my followers came along for the ride. Bunch of young kids, all full of piss and vinegar and the immortality of youth. I was full of that good old Dragon Slayer spirit, pissed off and itching for a fight. So I led those kids into the fray. They waded into the riot right alongside me, yelling and screaming with their fists in the air. I don't remember a whole lot of the fight itself, boss, but I do remember the aftermath. A lot of the kids that followed me had grown up listening to my music. They had all of my attitude sloshed, but none of them had my magic. And youthful enthusiasm is no defense against a knife or a handgun. I left left the punk scene for all the reasons I told you, boss, but there was a bigger reason, and I saw it in those kids' broken bodies. This road that I'm on, it leads to a grave. I've got the power to make it a leisurely trip, but make no mistake, this is where I'm headed. Those kids tried to follow in my footsteps, and they wound up sprinting ahead of me instead. Better for me to stay out of the public eye and stick to the shadows. My stint as a role model was ill-advised. Holy shit. Put any thoughts into what I said earlier? Yeah, boss, I have. It's an interesting idea, but there are risks. I'm thinking this might not be the best of times to approach him about it. He's the source of my magic, remember? If our discussions turned into an argument, he could take all of that magic back in a heartbeat, and then where would we be? I don't take you out on runs. Okay. What you've told me about the Dragon Slayer, I don't think he'd like the way you're talking, man. Since when has he ever encouraged you to back down from a fight? Got a point there, boss. He wouldn't want me to back down, ever. Not even from him. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'll ask the Dragon Slayer about shifting priorities, I guess you'd say. Taking on some deserving organisation and calling off the hunt for something more impressive than the Firewing. Of course, a fight like that would never really end. I'm never going to bring down a corp or a poly club all on my lonesome. But maybe that's not a bad thing. It'll take a lot of the guesswork out of life. I don't know, boss. If you have any thoughts about this, I'd love to hear them. Okay. We could say, we've already done some damage to Humanus, how about them? Could they be your new white whale after we've done with all of this? We could say, if you want big and bad, how about Seder Krupp, the biggest corporation in the world, and they're led by an honest-to-God dragon. I think that could be a little bit... I don't know what to recommend him. It's not like Blitz, where I really couldn't care less what he does. I like Dietrich. Blitz is just a dickhead. Why tie yourself to a specific group, I say? Keep it fluid, stomp anyone that threatens the Flux. Isn't that what Berlin is all about? I actually think that's probably the best one to go with. He cocks his head. Interesting. That's a different approach, but I like it. Hang on a second, I'll ask. He closes his eyes and concentrates. Minutes pass. Slowly a smile creeps across his face. Dietrich opens his eyes and turns to face you. Yeah, I think he'd like this plan just fine. That was it. That's all it took. The Dragon Slayer doesn't mince words, boss. If he doesn't like the plan, he'd have told me. Okay, so there we go. Dietrich's grin widens. He looks more at ease than you've seen him. Well, boss, I got myself a plan and a new target to boot. That's assuming, of course, that any of us make it through our current predicament alive. You know, Dietrich, now that you've got a handle on your connection with the Dragon Slayer, you could probably reach out to your old community again. Berlin's punks could benefit from your experience. He nods. Yeah, boss. I was thinking the same thing. Maybe I could give back a bit, fix some of the damage I caused in my misspent youth. After we finish dealing with the crisis in front of us, that is. It's a good thought, though. I'll keep it in mind. Okay, so let's talk to him again, just see if we can trigger anything else. Okay, there's nothing else there. We've talked to Eiger, we've talked to them. Let's go and... this is a lot of reading one. I hope you guys are still around. Alright, any thoughts about that last run? Nothing. So Blitz, we've cleared up all the conversations we need to have with anybody. We'll save it when we get to the point of walking. And there we go. Game save, good. I think there was actually another video that we could watch, to tell you the truth. We haven't done it yet. Put in the 4th DVD? I think this is the new one. Play track 1. 2050-04-28. This is it, the interview. Took some digging to find it, but here he is, my big brother, back in his prime. I think we haven't seen this one yet. Okay. Thank you for joining us. We are coming to you live from the ruins of Sangerhausen, the 5th Haas mountain town to be sacked by the Dragon Feuerschwinge. Standing by my side is the head of Deal Defense, Dr. Adrian Vauclair. Dr. Vauclair has been hailed as a leader in the effort to bring down Firewing and end her reign of terror. Dr. Vauclair, tell us about your efforts to bring down the dragon. How weird would it be if that kind of stuff was on the normal news? Killing the monster has proven difficult, to say the least. Her speed and maneuverability in the air are extraordinary. Her scales repel small arms fire and her breath can melt steel. Our R&D teams have been working around the clock to devise a weapon capable of downing the beast. In the interim, we are providing material support for the Luftwaffe's attempt to shoot her down via conventional means. Herr Vauclair. Why are you... Herr Vauclair. I love how that rhymes. It messes with my brain. Why are you directing Deal Defense's energies to the killing of Firewing? Are there corporate interests at play in this? corporate interests? No, this is a matter of human interest. Innocent lives are being extinguished at an appalling rate. I am in no position to help put an end to the slaughter, and so I must. I am in a position, sorry, not in no position. It really is that simple. Dr. Vauclair, you must understand my skepticism. Our viewers aren't looking for a PR statement. They come to us for the truth. I'm afraid that I don't have time to go back and forth on this. Your viewers can think whatever they wish. My concern is in helping the people affected by this tragedy. In that case, Dr. Vauclair, I thank you for sharing your valuable time with us. You're very welcome. To the viewers at home, stay safe and watch the skies. Salvation is coming, I promise. Again, that was Dr. Adrian Vauclair, CEO of Dealer Defense. Dr. Vauclair is the chief architect of the military's current plan to bring down the Dragon Feuerschwinge. Stay tuned for more late-breaking news on the battle from the Harz Mountains. Be right back. Okay, so we'll play track 2. That's definitely something I haven't seen before. Holy shit, I just stumbled onto some of Adrian's old lab notes. This dude's starting to look more and more haggard. I'm not going to say how I came across these. Someone might get hurt if the wrong people watch this. But I've checked them against some of Adrian's old handwriting samples and they're legitimate. Holy shit, this is big. Alright, okay, back up, slow down, breathe. He takes a moment to calm himself. Okay. So these notes. They pretty much confirm something I'd always suspected. Luftwaffe didn't shoot down Firewing. I mean, they tried. They pumped thousands of rounds into the air around her and they lobbed rockets at her for months. Lost a lot of attack helicopters and fighter craft in the process, but none of these things were responsible for taking her down. The Dragonfall was caused by an experimental warhead, one that Adrian and his Deal Defense think tank designed. If you look at this dude here's not getting much sleep. I don't understand the science of it, not even a little bit, but from what I can piece together, it looks like they designed some sort of chemical radiological agent that acts on the metagene. I don't think that they fully understand what they were doing. It was 2012 after all. Wow, that's 3 years ago. I mean, the process worked, but I don't know if they understood why it worked. Anyway, when a warhead full of this stuff comes into contact with a dual-natured creature like a dragon, say, it drives a wedge between that creature's physical and astral forms. The body gets put into a sort of hibernation state and the spirit is forced out. It also looks like this process can maintain that state of separation indefinitely. That's a pretty horrifying thought. A discorporated body's supposed to die in a few hours. I've heard horror stories about ghost-walking mages getting trapped in astral space, unable to rejoin with their mate. I heard they went crazy from the pain. If what I'm reading is accurate, it's entirely possible that Firewing has been trapped outside of her body for over 40 years. This is why Adrian was always so cagey about the subject of Firewing after the Dragonfall. He knew for a fact that she was alive, even if only technically. Her body crashed down into the SOX shore, but she wasn't dead. The government wouldn't let Adrian tell the public about any of this. Of course, it did interfere with the lie that they were feeding us, that the Firewing was dead, and that everyone was safe, and that people should stop hiding in their basements and go back to work and pay taxes and just... Oh no. But privately, he always said that she was still out there, somewhere deep in the SOX. I'd always thought that he was paranoid, but I was wrong. He knew. So what does all of this mean? It means that the stories I got from that ghost rat suddenly sound a lot more plausible. It means that Firewing is definitely alive and that Adrian's disappearance is unquestionably tied to her survival. It means that Germany is in deep shit. Because if Firewing is still alive, it's only a matter of time before she rears her ugly head again. Okay, that's enough for one night. I'm going to go get drunk. Good plan, man. At the end of this episode, I'm going to go pour myself a drink. Look, Adrian. See, look, he's healthy again. He's not all tired and stuff. Look, Adrian, I understand you. Lord knows I do. But you've got to drop this dragon fixation. People are starting to talk. There's a camera cut and you find yourself looking at a young, handsome Dr. Adrian Vauclair. He wears a slight smile on his face. Oh, they're talking, are they? What a terrible shame. Damn it, Adrian, this is serious. You're a public figure. You could lose everything if you don't keep these ridiculous fairy tales to yourself. Hermie, my theories are not, as you call them, fairy tales. Dragons are real. I saved Germany from one. Have you forgotten? No, of course not. Everyone knows that you killed the Firewing. Stopped. Not killed. Look, see, this is a man. He needs sleep too. Look at his eyes. Fine, stopped. Whatever. Winter swipes a bottle off the table in front of him, drains it and drops it to the floor. Call it whatever you want. But Adrian, you're the only one who still is obsessed with the damn things. There aren't that many of them and they're not taking over the world. Vauclair's voice is quiet, soft. Such is the cry of the cancer patient. Sorry, say that again. Such is the cry of the cancer patient. Unaware of what's killing him. I'm fine, not to worry, I'll smoke another cigarette, what's the harm? He doesn't see what's happening, but he winds up dead. All the same. Winters snorts. Now you're just being maudlin. Look, Adrian. Vauclair shakes his head, his smile has disappeared. You mark my words, Hermie. Within 5 years, corporations, even countries will fall to these creatures. And the worst part is, nobody will care. And this world is so twisted. Oh, people will tut-tut about it. There may be a protest or two, but no one will actually do anything to stop them. The immortal, all-powerful, utterly pitiless reptiles will seize more and more of our power, wealth and territory, and we foolish, short-sighted mortals will never get it back. Green Winters chuckles uncomfortably, raises his hands in the air in a supplicating gesture. Come now, we could solve the problem, of course, but we, as a species, are unwilling to invest our energy into problems that aren't staring us right in the face. As it was with climate change, so it is with dragons. I've accepted that, but you can't ask me to stop caring about it. Oh my goodness, it's just unrelenting badness coming in the future here. Oh no. You're hopeless, Adrian. Fine, by all means keep caring, just keep your conspiracy theories to yourself. I'm just telling this for your own sake. Yes, Hermie, you're right. Of course you're right. I mustn't jeopardize my credibility with the masses. It's not just your credibility that I'm worried about. Talk is talk, but sometimes I worry that you're really going to go back to the SOX. Claire's tone softens again. Hermie, please, big brother, just drop all of this. Stop hunting the Firewing and start living your life again. If you won't do it for yourself, then for fuck's sake, do it for me. Claire nods and looks away from the screen. Alright, Hermie, I'll try. Oh, man. Well, this is, like I said, guys, this has definitely been a talking one. I'm a fun-loving... That's awesome. Meet and mate singles dating profile. User, Jolly Green Winters. Metatype, human. Ethnicity, Caucasian. Body type, muscular. Yeah, I don't think so. Age 50. Looking for F-H-E-D. Don't know what all that is, but there you go. I'm a fun-loving guy who's a great listener. I love hiking, clubbing, and all kinds of pets. I'm looking for a cute, funny, adventurous girl who's down to party. I don't respond to profiles without pics. No walks, no trolls. Sorry, ladies. That's hilarious. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay, I'm hoping this has got all the talking out of this one. We'll probably end up going straight on a job in the next one, so hope you guys are still here. There's a lot of talking in that one. I'm going to go pour myself a drink. I'm going to start the next one, and hopefully, as I said, because I have no Nuyen myself, maybe we'll be able to go and earn some that I can actually have to buy some medikits and stuff like that. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Any comments or suggestions or questions, please put them down in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that jazz. I'll see you guys next time.